Have you ever felt like you've met someone before, even though it's your first time meeting them? You sense their distinct energy, and even if you can't exactly pinpoint what feels so strangely familiar, your heart tells you it's something worth noting. This is déjà vu, and many believe it is your past lives echoing through the chambers of your consciousness. This strange phenomenon isn't limited to just people. You might visit a place and feel like you've been there before. Even a life circumstance can present itself in a way that makes you feel as if you've already experienced it. While science categorizes it as a memory error, spiritual leaders and sages have long perpetuated the idea of a spirit that endures through many lifetimes of reincarnation until finally achieving salvation. Today, we're going to uncover the truth behind reincarnation and how you can develop clarity about your past lives and use this knowledge to your advantage in this life and beyond. By the end of this video, you will have learned a special 3-step meditation approach that will help you with all your spiritual goals, including the desire to know your past lives. So, let's start with a question. Do you know what separates you from an animal? What makes you so special as a human being? It's your ability to think, reflect, and consciously evolve until you reach your higher self, the other part of you that lives in the immaterial. Without this reflection and learning, you are at your basic level, your animal nature. But how many humans do we truly witness evolving in their thought processes and consciousness? Few, perhaps. You may have heard stories about them, but maybe you've never met such an individual in real life. That's because man has forgotten his purpose, his dharma. He has become a neurotic wreck and is now being ruthlessly consumed by the emotions of survival, fear, greed, competition, lies, and deception. The insatiable thirst to advance at the expense of others' well-being. This is not what a human was meant to be, nor were they given such higher mental faculties to waste their potential by behaving like an animal. An animal is a being controlled by its instinctual drive for survival, so that's what its entire life revolves around. Nature has programmed the animal in such a way that it can only think about its safety and reproduction. That's the goal nature is trying to fulfill through animals, the continuation of species at all costs. But for a human, it's different. A human can transcend their survival instincts and seek something more. However, the modern world works in such a way that your reptilian brain is always active, making you focus on immediate dangers and discomforts rather than creating significant long-term change. Until you realize you are much more than your fear and ego, you cannot progress and explore your extraordinary potential. Everything and everyone in this universe serves a unique purpose. Nothing is here by chance. There is a divine intelligence orchestrating this game. Everything fills a void in this universe. So, have you ever thought about what your higher purpose is? The money, success, and relationships you desire are one aspect. The other is your spiritual evolution, which has been going on eternally. You are not a body but a soul dressed in flesh to play a role in this dimension. There are other infinite dimensions, and your soul has already experienced many of them. With each life, your soul has collected some important lessons through unique experiences and adventures. These lessons are your true treasure. It's the only thing you've been carrying as you've moved through dimensions before, and it's certainly the only thing you'll take with you when you leave your human suit behind on this planet. This is your only valuable possession on this eternal journey. So, is there anything more important than learning about the profound wisdom that is imprinted on the fabric of your spirit? Certainly not. The past lives you've experienced are a significant source of insights that can completely alter the course of your present life and prepare you for spiritual enlightenment. This brings us to the next burning question that so many people, especially critics of reincarnation, ask: if our past lives were such a vital stream of information, then why don't we remember any of them? Why does a person need to engage in hypnosis or deep meditation to uncover truths that are so integral to their spiritual development? Why do we forget them in the first place? The truth is, we don't need those memories in vivid detail. We only need to know the lessons learned. Learning and reliving past life memories can be painful. You might have done something terribly wrong or been a victim of some terrible injustice. If your mind had consciously and clearly remembered every detail related to those situations, you wouldn't be able to live as you are. You might have been overwhelmed by crippling anxiety, guilt, or deep sadness that would have made you unable to function as a normal human in this life. Hans Wilhelm, the revered author, explains that due to the divine mercy of infinite consciousness, we are deliberately protected from these details so that our lives in this dimension can continue normally. Secondly, upon entering this realm of time and space, our ability to understand other dimensions was greatly diminished. For example, we see every scientist and philosopher confessing that time is not linear nor real. But can you really live your life here on the planet without accounting for time? The answer is no. Society and everything around you have been organized based on the notion that time is linear and moves in only one direction. You might have glimpses of timelessness in deep trance states, but living your life without time is practically impossible for our senses, which are so accustomed to the environment. Similarly, there are many other truths that we simply are not capable of comprehending due to our limited perception. Therefore, this veil of forgetting that exists between us and our past lives is not a mistake, but rather a conscious curation by infinite intelligence to give us the best chance of thriving in this life. As far as getting important lessons from past lives is concerned, there are many ways to fulfill that agenda. Let's explore that in a minute. In the field of past life regression, Dr. Brian Weiss is a highly sought-after name. He is a hypnotherapist who has worked with thousands of people, helping them access their past lives. In his book Many Lives, Many Masters, Weiss talks about the idea of reincarnation, of which he was also skeptical at first. But it was during a hypnosis session that one of his patients, named Catherine, regressed to a past life. She not only spoke about the journey of her own soul but also gave specific details about Weiss's family, which were absolutely correct. Weiss was astonished but convinced that we are indeed eternal souls, traveling through multiple lives and dimensions. We go through endless cycles of birth, death, and rebirth to learn the lessons of our experiences. A soul chooses a precise physical experience for itself, so it can collect the lessons it's seeking for its evolution. Once those lessons are learned, the soul leaves the mortal body, and this is what we perceive as death in our limited understanding. But, as everything is energy in this universe, the soul is also a pure and unadulterated essence. It wasn't born nor will it die but will manifest in infinite forms to acquire wisdom. The karma of a soul is the sum of all the actions it has taken during its lifetime and their consequences. If a soul did something to harm another soul, it may escape the consequences in this life but not forever. The soul will eventually choose to be reborn in the physical to undo the debt and learn the underlying lesson. Dr. Weiss suggests that groups of souls tend to reincarnate together repeatedly until they have sufficiently worked out their karmas. The closest relationships, which test a person in their abilities, may be the greatest lessons they need to learn on an energetic level. Interestingly, another highly regarded psychologist and hypnotherapist, Michael Newton, spoke about the same idea in his book, giving even more weight to this theory. Michael says, "When clients tell me how they've suffered because of the actions of family members, my first question for their conscious mind is, if you hadn't been exposed to that person as a child, what would you be missing in terms of understanding now?" It might take some time, but the answer is in our minds. There are spiritual reasons for being raised around certain types of people, just as other people are designated to be near us as adults. If you're with a family member or loved one who tests your limits and you're always in conflict, it's time to stop and reflect. Is there a lesson for both of you to learn here? This idea could potentially change the way you view your interactions with other humans forever. The original nature of every human being is the pure light of God. It is where we come from, and it is where we go. When a soul does something that deviates from God, it essentially builds layers that block the pure light. The thicker that layer becomes, the longer it takes to remove it. That's why many souls keep reincarnating repeatedly, trying to undo the layers of programming and dirt they've accumulated, consciously or unconsciously, over their lifetimes. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is called samsara. This cycle is what Buddha referred to as suffering because when the soul is reincarnating repeatedly, it is unable to achieve its true purpose, called moksha or ultimate union with the divine. Suffering occurs due to desire and attachment. A powerful tool not only for knowing your past lives but also for breaking the cycle of suffering is the daily practice of meditation. Meditation slows down racing thoughts and clears the noise, allowing you to connect with your deeper consciousness beyond the layers of the chaotic conscious mind. To start your meditation practice, sit in a quiet, serene place where you won't be disturbed. Make sure your shoulders are straight and your spine is erect. This position will help you focus during meditation. Take a deep breath in, hold for a moment, and then release. As you complete the first breath, gently close your eyes. The first step of this special meditation is to visualize all the healing frequencies, such as love, bliss, and enlightenment, entering your body with each inhalation, and with each exhalation, see your body getting rid of all negativity. With each new breath, you will feel progressively calmer as the heavy emotions and energies slowly dissipate, making room for inner peace and communion with the divine. Once you reach a deeper level of consciousness through breathing, it's time for the second step, opening your Akashic records. The Akashic records are the energetic log of your soul, containing all the information you need to know to grow and thrive on a spiritual level. Accessing the Akashic records not only prepares you spiritually but also provides answers that can have a profoundly positive impact on your material life. Set the intention to download useful information from the Akashic records. With that intention in mind, focus on your third eye. Your third eye is your spiritual portal to higher dimensions and is located right in the middle of your forehead. To open this portal, focus your breath on it. As you inhale, imagine all the energy being projected into the third eye area. See the area being energized and rejuvenated with your powerful breath. The more you breathe into this area, the faster the third eye activation will be for you. But don't expect to get results in your first meditation session. Think of this as if you're building muscles at the gym. Put in the necessary time and energy every day to see the results of your accumulated efforts. That's why every spiritual master advocates the idea of daily meditation. Without consistency in your practice, you cannot achieve the spiritual evolution you're seeking. After focusing on your third eye for a few minutes, it's finally time for the third and final step of your meditation. This is about opening your heart so you can be in a receptive mode for the love and blessings of infinite intelligence. Love is all there is. Everything is love. It is the frequency on which the entire universe vibrates. It is the vibration of God. In your quest to release your karmic debt and detach from suffering, love is the energy you need to fully embrace. Bring all your attention to the center of your chest. This is where your heart chakra is located. Breathe into your heart a few times, as you did to activate the third eye, and then bring up an emotion of forgiveness for everyone and everything. This includes forgiving yourself, your past, and the people who may have caused you harm. What is true forgiveness? It's understanding that every creation has its own method of learning and production, and they have the right to mistakes just as I do. The process of growth is not perfect, and you must understand this so as not to hold grudges against people for the suffering you imagined from them in the past. Finally, send love to everyone you know. As you do this, you will notice that your heart area will feel larger as if it's expanding with the positivity and glow of love. This is the exact feeling you should aim for at the end of your meditation, so you can firmly plant the seed of love in your mind and soul. Practice your meditation every day until it becomes a habit. As you deepen each of the 3 steps of this meditation, the secrets of your past lives will begin to reveal themselves to you in surprising ways. You will see signs and synchronicities and often feel enveloped by a higher, loving presence. All these are indicators that you are getting closer to your true self, rising above your humanity. Once you are familiar with your daily meditations, you can begin asking specific questions to the Ascended Masters or your spiritual guides at the end of the practice, and you will start receiving answers, again in the form of signs and synchronicities. Learning about your past lives is a great way to align your spiritual wisdom to your benefit, and if you're not exploring this path, you're surely missing out on something that could change your life. So, have you ever had an experience that somehow made you aware of a past life you've lived? Share your mystical story with others in the comments below, and until next time, keep growing and learning.